Magandang araw sa inyong lahat, sa ating mga kababayan, sa aking mga estudyante sa Baliwag Polytechnic College at sa iba pang mga estudyante na nanonood sa video natin ngayong araw. Stay safe. Sana lagi tayong nananatiling safe sa panahon ngayon. At welcome sa isa na namang video patungkol sa readings on Philippine history. At magandang ating topic ngayon. We will be talking about constitutions, the Constitution of the Philippines, 1899, 1935, 1973, at saka 1987. So mahihinuhan natin sa iba't ibang constitutions na binuo ng ating mga ninuno, ng ating mga bayani, ng ating mga leaders sa Philippines. Mahihinuhan natin ang evolution at ang kasaysayan ng Pilipinas, no? At ang mga pagbabago na nangyari sa Pilipinas through these important documents. So, sa tingin ko, medyo mahaba ang video natin ngayon kasi 4 na saligang batas ang ating tatalakayin, no? At alam ko na pinagtabi-tabi talaga ito ng Readings in Philippine History para makita natin ang comparison ng bawat isang constitution na ito sa ating kasaysayan. So welcome muli sa aking video. Ako si Attorney Robert John Donesa, ang inyong guro sa Readings in Philippine History. So ang ating pong topic ngayon, once again, ay the Philippine Constitutions ng 1899, 1935, 1973, 1987. Pero bago tayo sumabak dyan, medyo mayroon muna tayong mga introduction kasi medyo mabibigat ang mga topics na yan. No? Atin munang kilalanin ang mga konsepto na dapat alam bago natin i-discuss ang mga constitutions na yan. So una na sa mga konsepto na dapat nating ma-acquaint with or makilala is ang konsepto ng state, no? So ang state ay katumbas ng salitang bansa sa Philippines, no? Sa Filipino, sa Tagalog, no? So makikita natin ang definition ng state. The state is a complete body of free persons united together for the common benefit to enjoy peaceably what is their own and to do justice to others. So ang state, sa sinabi ko na kanina, ay katumbas ng salitang bansa sa ating wika. Ang ating bansa ay tinatawag natin na Pilipinas o Republic of the Philippines. So makikita natin sa mapa, yan ang bansa natin, no? Tayo ay body of free persons united together. Ang tawag natin sa ating mga sarili ay Filipinos, no? We come and unite together, nagkakaisa tayo para sa ikabubuti ng bawat isa at para ma-enjoy natin, no, ang ating kalayaan, no? Magawa natin ang ating gustong gawin sa ating bansa, matupad natin ang ating mga pangarap bilang lahi at bilang lipi, at mabigyan hustisya ang bawat isa. No, hindi natin aagrabyadahin ang ating kapwa. So, a state really is a community of persons. Pero, meron pang mas magandang definition dyan sa state, no? At ito'y ibibigay sa atin ng isang political scientist na si James Wilford Garner. No? Ito ang pinaka-common na ginagamit ng mga political science students at saka ng mga abogado sa pag-define ng salitang state o bansa. A state is a community of persons more or less numerous, permanently occupying a definite portion of territory, independent of external control, and possessing an organized government to which a great body of inhabitants render habitual obedience. So, ito nga ay bigay sa atin ng isang political scientist na si Professor James Wilford Garner. So, makikita natin sa definition, completos ricados ang definition. No? Number 1, it is a community of persons, more or less numerous. No? So, it refers to the citizens. Dapat mayroong citizen ang isang state. No? And dapat madami ito. No? Madami for it to defend itself. And then, dapat hindi rin sobrang dami na hindi na din sustainable. No? Hindi rin sila magkaka-unite pag sobrang dami. So, more or less numerous. No? Sufficient enough to defend themselves and small enough for it to be able to be fed by the state. Mahirap din naman sobrang dami, no, that the state will have difficulty na unite, no, magkaka-disintegrate din sila kung masyadong malaki. And then these citizens permanently occupying a definite portion of territory. So there must be a land or a body of water wherein these citizens occupy permanently a fixed point on earth. No? Tulad ng Pilipinas, permanent natin ito na territory. And then, matatagpuan ito sa Southeast Asia. No? And then, independent of external control. So mayroon dapat sovereignty, malaya dapat siya mula sa pananakop ng ibang mga bansa, ibang mga bansa, yes. And then it must possess also an organized government to which a great body of inhabitants render habitual obedience. Dapat may pamahalaan. Pamahalaan na nagpapatupad ng mga batas at sinusunod ng mga tao, no? Kasi kung walang pamahalaan, magkakaroon ng kaguluhan dun sa bansa. So, base sa binasa nating definition ng state, meron tayong 4 elements. Number 1, yung territory. Number 2, yung government. Number 3, citizens. Number 4, sovereignty. No? Pagkatandaan natin itong mga elements of the state kasi ito ang magiging framework natin sa pag-analyze ng mga constitutions na nabanggit. Yung Constitution ng 1899, Constitution ng 1935, Constitution ng 1973, at Constitution ng 1986. So we will check all these constitutions based on the elements of the state na na-identify natin sa definition ni Professor Garner. So, isang review, the elements of the state. The first one is territory, the occupation of a fixed territory by the state, land, water, airspace within the defined territorial area comprise the territory of the state. It embraces the geographical limits of the state, its rivers and lakes, and the natural resources it has, and the airspace above. So sa bandang kanan ko, sa ating blackboard, makikita natin ang Earth at ang Philippines, no? Itong may linya, yan yung tinatawag nating Philippine territory. No? Kung sa Baguio, Philippine Area of Responsibility, no? Pero ito Philippine Territory. Nandyan ang ating mga kapuluan, Luzon, Visayas at saka Mindanao, no? At ito ang territory natin, ibig sabihin ang mga tubig, lupa na nakapaloob sa territory na yan ay bahaging-bahagi ng territory natin. Ang mga water, mga seas in between the islands, mga rivers and lakes are called internal waters, and then bahagi siya ng territory ng Philippines. So, mahalaga yan, ano? Kasi bago pumasok dyan ang mga dayuhang mga barko ay kailangan magpaalam sa atin gawa ngang this is a part of the Philippine territorial waters. No? So, isa pa sa mga elements of the state ay ang citizens. Tayo yon. Ikaw at ako at ang mga sambayanang Pilipino. Ang tawag sa atin, citizens. Kung wala tayo, walang bansa, walang state. No? So, tayo yung nag-occupy ng territory na nabanggit kanina. No? So, ang general definition ng state, it is the people. You and me, we make the state. Without them, there can be none. But population must be large enough to make a state and to sustain it. So, sa huli kong nalaman, may 104 million Filipinos. We comprise the state called the Philippines. And we have 7,106 islands and more. No, there are more na we occupy. And this is the fixed territory of the Philippines on earth. No? So, tayo yung citizen and we are one of the elements of the state. Another is the government, no? Ang ating pamahalaan. The agency created to enforce rules of conduct and ensure obedience. So, yan yung ating pamahalaan mula pambansang pamahalaan, no? Panlalawigang pamahalaan, pangsyudad, pambayan, pambarangay, no? So, pamahalaan yan. Yan ang ating government, no? At tayo ay nagbibigay ng general obedience sa ating pamahalaan, no? Sumusunod tayo sa mga tuntunin na kanilang pinapatakbo at ine-execute para sa kapayapaan at kaayusan ng ating bayan. Ayan. So, sovereignty o itong kalayaang mga siwa, no, sa mga usaping panloob ng ating state, no, ay isang sovereignty. Hindi pakikialaman ng ibang bansa o iba pang mga kapangyarihan. Ang tawag dyan, sovereignty. A state must be internally supreme and free from external control. The state must have monopoly of authority inside its boundaries. Each state is independent of other states. Its will is its own, unaffected by the will of any other external authorities. So kung makikita natin ang mapa, nandirito ang mga bansa sa Timog Silangang Asya. No? Lahat yan ay may sari-sariling sovereignty o kalayaang mamuno at magdesisyon sa kanyang sarili, lalong-lalo na sa mga usaping panloob o mga internal issues. No? Ayan. Maaaring pakikialaman, pero very, very minimal lang yung tinatawag nating long-arm doctrine na makikialam ang ibang bansa sa atin for humanitarian reasons. But really, we are free sa ating internal issues sa pag-course ng destiny ng ating bansa. Tayo ay malaya, no? Tayo ay hindi dapat pinakikialaman ng ibang bansa. We call that sovereignty, no? Kung wala yan, hindi tayo state, no? Kung wala yan ay hindi tayo state, no? So yung apat na elements na yun, kailangan nandun lahat, present lahat. Kung absent yung isa, hindi ito bansa, no? Pwedeng nation lamang, no? May territory, may citizens, may tao, may government, pero walang kalayaan. So it can be a nation, not a state, no? Nation, isang cultural na concept. State, isang political na concept. Ngunit, warning lang kasi in many instances, they are used interchangeably, no? Such as, pag sinabing United Nations, actually, nire-refer nila united na mga states yon, no? Hindi yon nations. Para lang siguro hindi magkaroon ng maging conflict dun sa United States of America, no? Tinawag na United Nations. But actually, the nations referred to in United Nations is referring to the state, no? Which are sovereign community of persons with government and with territory, no? Okay. So, puntahan natin yung concept ng constitution, no? Hindi lahat naiintindihan yung concept ng constitution, no? Kaya balikan natin, reviewin natin. Ang iba may idea lang sila, pero actually kung titingnan natin, hindi nila completely grasp yung concept ng constitution. Subukan natin siyang intindihin ngayon. Constitution is the body of doctrines and practices that form the fundamental organizing principle of a political state, no? I-describe natin ang constitution bilang primary law, important law, the primary law of the land, no? Kasi ito ay parang contract between you, us citizens, and the government, no? Na ito ang pinaka-law na susundin na hindi dapat bina-violate. And all the laws must conform to the Constitution. It's the highest law of the land, no? Normally, para siyang contract between you and the government, between us and the government, that the government needs to follow that contract and you also needs to follow that contract. So any government action na hindi suwak sa Constitution, hindi naaayon sa Constitution, is actually invalidated and labeled unconstitutional. So the Constitution is actually an agreement between the ruled and the ruler, no? So it's the fundamental law. So it is actually a list of doctrines, like how is it described here, the body of doctrines and practices, no? And it formed the fundamental organizing principle of a political state, no? Okay, Constitution is described as the fundamental law of our state. Huh? So, gaya ng sinabi ko, ay Constitution is a body of rules governing the affairs of an organized group. So, siguro you're familiar with it kasi yung mga organizations kung saan tayo napabilang ay mayroong constitution and bylaws, no? Parang ito yung ating principles that will govern our relationships, no? Ayan. So every state has a constitution, no? Whether it's written or not, no? Meron dapat bawat isang bansa. At least insofar as it operates its important institutions according to some fundamental body of rules. No? Some states do not have a written constitution, but they have constitutions. No? Unwritten, kumbaga. So mga practices, no? Ayan. Implicit in the concept of a constitution is the idea of a higher law that takes precedence over all other laws. Matatandaan ko maraming mga examples dyan. Bago ang isang bansa ay nabuo, bago ang isang state ay nabuo, magkakaroon muna tayo ng constitution. Magkakaroon muna ng agreement between the people and the government. The people wants, for example, a democratic government. It will write it in the constitution and it will be agreed upon by everyone. No? The people, for instance, do not like death penalty for themselves. So they will put it in the constitution, no? So that the constitution will govern. No? Kung merong magpasa ng batas on death penalty, then it will be unconstitutional. Kasi in the first place, bago tayo nabuo as a state, we already agreed that there will be no death penalty, or we will have a paramount respect for life. No? So, kumbaga, it's a contract. The Constitution is a higher law. And all other laws, all other subsequent laws, no, mga susunod pang mga batas na gagawin ng ating mga leaders o mga pinuno, kailangan sumang-ayon sa Philippine Constitution. So sa ating kasaysayan, nagkaroon na tayo ng 7 constitution. No? Ang una ay ang Constitution ng Biak na Bato noong 1897. Ang pangalawa ay ang Constitution ng Malolos Republic noong 1899. Ang pangatlo ay nung panahon ng mga Amerikano, ang 1935 Constitution of the Philippines. Ang pang-apat ay the Constitution of the Second Philippine Republic nung panahon ng mga Hapon. Ang panglima ay nung panahon ng martial law, the 1973 Constitution. Ang pang-anim ay ang Freedom Constitution ng 1986. Ang pang-pito ay ang 1987 Constitution. At yan ang Constitution na kasalukuyang umiiral sa ating bansa ngayon. Isa-isahin natin sila. Pero mag-focus tayo dun sa 1899, 1935, 1973, at 1987. Dun sa 4 na Constitution. No? Ang Constitution ng Biak na Bato ang pinakaunang Constitution na nabuo sa Philippines noong 1897. Ito'y sinulat ni Ginoong Felix Ferrer at Isabelo Artacho na i-benchmark nila sa Cuban Constitution of Himagwayu noong 1895. No? Halos sinasabi ng ating mga historiador na ito ay kopya doon sa Constitution ng Himagwayo ng Cuba. No? Pero kung titingnan natin ang preamble, mahalaga doon na ipinakita sa kasaysayan ng Pilipinas na mahalaga sa atin ang paghihiwalay ng Philippines mula sa Spanish monarchy. Basahin natin ang preamble ng Constitution ng Biak na Bato. The separation of the Philippines from the Spanish monarchy and their formation into an independent state with its own government called the Philippine Republic has been the end sought by the revolution in the existing war. No? began on the 24th of August, 1896. And therefore, in its name and by the power delegated by the people, the Filipino people, interpreting faithfully their desires and ambitions, we, the representatives of the revolution, in a meeting at Biak na Bato, November 1, 1897, unanimously adopted the following articles of the Constitution of the state. So, mahalagang mahalaga ang preamble kasi mahalagang na-spell out na ang pakay talaga ng Philippine Revolution is the separation of the Philippines from the Spanish monarchy. At ang Constitution ng Biak na Bato Republic noong 1897 ay nagpapahiwatig sa atin na isa na siya dapat na state, no? So unanimously adopted the following articles for the Constitution of the state. So yun talaga yung pakay ng Constitution natin, ang humiwalay sa Spanish monarchy. Ang sunod na Constitution ay ang Constitution ng Malolos Republic noong 1899. So, ito yung isa sa mga kopya ng Malolos Republic Constitution at iyan naman yung assembly, no? Na pinatawag ni Pangulong Emilio Aguinaldo sa Baraswain Church sa Malolos, Bulacan para ipatawag ang mga representatives ng mga probinsya para sa isang pulong, no? Para maging supposedly advisory niya, mag-a-advise sa kanya kung paano papatakbuhin ang Pilipinas sa kanyang pagiging pangulo, no? Pero sabi nila na iba ang pakay sa pamumuno ni Pedro Paterno na naging isang constitutional assembly ang nangyari, no? So bibigyan natin ang sarili natin ng background. So President Emilio Aguinaldo convoked a Revolutionary Congress at Baraswain Church in Malolos, Bulacan. The Congress was held on September 15, 1898. In the afternoon, they elected officers which was won by Pedro A. Paterno as the Congress President. Originally, the Congress was convoked to advise the President Aguinaldo, but the Congress proposed the drafting of a constitution. No? Apolinario Mabini opposed the proposal, citing peace and order condition of the country. However, he submitted his constitutional plan of the Philippine Republic. So, ang advisor ng Pangulong Emilio Aguinaldo ay nag-oppose dun sa planong mag-draft ng Constitution. Ang kanyang argument ay ang pag-draft ng Constitution ay magandang gawin kapag na-restore na ang peace and order ng buong kapuluan at hindi ngayong magulo pa, no? At hindi dapat ito minamadali, no? Pero dahil sa pamumuno ni Pedro A. Paterno, parang na-out-argue nila si Apolinario Mabini at pumayag ang Pangulong Emilio Aguinaldo na mag-draft na, magbalangkas na ng saligang batas o constitution. At dahil doon, si Apolinario Mabini, meron na naman siyang nahandang constitutional plan of the Philippine Republic, sinubmit na lang niya sa Congress. So a committee was created, tasked to draft a constitution. It was led by Felipe G. Calderon. No? Calderon set aside the draft presented by Mabini and Paterno. Advice of Cayetano Arellano, isang abogado, Calderon drew his own draft. Gumawa siya ng sarili niyang balangkas. At the Malolos Constitution, which was drafted by Felipe G. Calderon, was benchmarked from the constitutions of Mexico, Belgium, Guatemala, Costa Rica, Brazil, and France. So Calderon was to make the Catholicism as a state religion. After a heated discussion, the Congress voted on it. The result was a tie. No? Parang nagkaroon ng voting kung ang Catholicism ba ay maging state religion. Kasi this was the time kung saan malakas pa ang Catholicism sa ating mga Filipinos. Hanggang ngayon naman malakas. But these are really the times, the conservative times, when Catholicism really played a big role in Filipino families and the Filipino nation. So, nagkaroon ng voting. This was also the time when there were issues in the Catholic Church as being immortalized by Rizal's Noli Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo. So, nagkaroon ng malaking debate sa pagiging state religion ng Catholic Church. So, what happened is nagkaroon ng tie sa botohan, no? Equally, parang equal ang desisyon ng Congress. So, nagkaroon ng second voting, and the second voting was just one vote, no? Natalo ang move na Catholic should be the state religion. And Malolos Constitution became state na there should be a separation between the church and state. And guess what? It was Pablo Tecson of Bulacan whom the vote na non-inclusion of Catholicism as a state religion, siya yung nag-break nung tie. No? Ayan. Ito naman ang litrato ni Ginoong Felipe G. Calderon, ang namuno sa committee ng pagsulat at pagbalangkas ng Malolos Constitution. So on October 8, 1898, Calderon presented a draft of the Constitution. On October 21, printed copies of the said drafts were made. Deliberation started on October 25, 1898. No? And then President Aguinaldo promulgated the Malolos Constitution on January 21, 1899. No? Mamaya, puntahan natin ang specific provisions ng Malolos Constitution. Puntahan muna natin sa ngayon ang pagpapakilala ng 1935 Constitution of the Philippines. So, ito'y panahon na ng mga Amerikano, no, 1935. Pero in July 1, 1901, the Americans formally established the first civil government in the islands. No? During the administration of Governor General Francis Burton Harrison, 1913 to 1921, Filipinos were given a hand in running the country. No? Kahit nasakop tayo ng mga Amerikano, parang nagkaroon sila ng Philippinization policy. No? Especially during the time of Governor General Francis Burton Harrison. So noong 1916, the Philippine Autonomy Act, or the so-called Jones Law of 1916, was passed, resulting to an all-Filipino legislature. During the administration of Governor General Francis Burton, as we said, it's repeated here, Filipinos were given a hand in running the country. So, from 1918 to 1932, there were at least 5 Philippine independence missions to the United States. No? Parang these missions actually led by our politicians, no? Sina Osmeña Rojas and then Quezon, they went back and forth to the United States para hingiin ang ating kalayaan, no? Ayan. So, at the end, the effort resulted to the passage of Tydings-McDuffie Law on March 24, 1934. It provided for the guidelines for a constitution for a 10-year period before the actual grant of independence. So parang create a constitution, no, that would be the constitution for a 10-year period between 1935 to 1945, no? And the US would actually grant the Philippine independence. So ito yung ng Tydings-McDuffie Law. So on July 10, 1934, 202 delegates were elected to write the Constitution, and the convention opened on July 30. The draft was finished by January 31, 1935. No? The Constitution was approved by U.S. President Franklin Roosevelt on March 23, 1935. The Filipinos ratified the Constitution on May 14, 1935. So, kaya 1935 Constitution of the Philippines. Lahat ng delegates, 202, ay supposedly will sign the Constitution na they drafted. Pero actually, si Attorney Tomas Cabile ng Iligan sa Lanao, sa island ng Mindanao, did not sign the Constitution. According to the lawyer, he said na it did not benefit the island of Mindanao para sa kanya. No? Ayan si Attorney Tomas Cabile of Iligan, Lanao, in the island of Mindanao. So that is a picture of the debates during the formulation of the Constitution of the Philippines in 1935. And this is the signing of President Roosevelt, no? And it was witnessed by President Manuel Quezon. And then, during the 10-year period of practice, supposedly, we call it the Commonwealth Government of the Philippines. 10 years sana yon, nagpa-practice tayong maging bansa, maging state, no? It was interrupted by the coming of the Japanese in 1941. So, that was a 3-year interlude of Japanese occupation, and it interrupted actually our constitution, the 10-year period wherein it's a transitional constitution from the Commonwealth of the Philippines to the Republic of the Philippines. No? Pero in 1943, just before in the middle of the Japanese occupation, just before they left us, there was a constitution of the Second Philippine Republic. No? It was actually drafted, ordered by the Japanese imperial government. So, the kapisanan ng paglilingkod sa bagong Pilipinas, ito yung kapisanan ng mga nagtatrabaho sa pamahalaang Hapon sa Pilipinas, or Kaliba P. They convened and elected a Philippine Commission for Philippine Independence, no? PCPI. to write a new constitution, and it was finished on September 4, 1943. So, after nung the war, yung Philippine Constitution of the Second Philippine Republic, written in 1943, was also disregarded, no? Kasi it was a constitution written during the war, and the Filipinos were not really serious about the promised independence of the Japanese. No, they were actually waiting for the liberation. So after the war, 1946 to 1973, technically we are still using the 1935 Constitution. So naisip ni President Marcos na dapat magkaroon na tayo ng sarili nating constitution that's free from foreign interference. So, and then also to meet the many challenges that was experienced by the Philippines in between 1946 and 1973. So President Ferdinand E. Marcos envisions a new constitution to meet the myriad of challenges faced by the Philippines since its independence in 1946. No? So a constitutional convention was convened at Manila Hotel on June 1, 1971. No? According to historians, it was marred. No? Ito'y nagkaroon ng lamat it was marred by controversies. Maraming kontrobersya kasi yung mga members ng Constitutional Commission, puro speeches lang ang nangyari at mas inuna nila yung kanilang mga allowances kaysa magtrabaho. No? In 1972, nag-declare ng martial law, and then the convention was pushed through despite the declaration of martial law. And the draft was finished and approved by November 30, 1972. The draft was submitted to citizens' assemblies. No? Instead na having a plebiscite to ratify the Constitution, sinabmit ito ni President Ferdinand E. Marcos sa mga citizens' assemblies, no? Sa mga barangays, which were formed to approve or reject the new Constitution. So on January 17, 1973, si President Ferdinand E. Marcos signed Proclamation 1102, declaring the ratification of the 1973 Constitution. No? Kung titingnan natin ang Constitution, it provided for a parliamentary form of government, and the legislative power was vested in the Batasang Pambansa. There were constitutional commissions, no, which includes the Civil Service Commission, the Commission on Election, and the Commission on Appointment. No? Ito si Pangulong President, si Pangulong Ferdinand E. Marcos. So, ito naman yung letrato, larawan ng isa sa mga debate, no, sa pagbuo o pagbalangkas ng 1973 Constitution. No? At yan si Pangulong Marcos. No? So, syempre, alam natin sa kasaysayan na nagkaroon ng mahigit 20 taon ng diktadorya sa ilalim ni Pangulong Marcos at nagkaroon tayo ng EDSA Revolution, People Power, kung saan pinaalis natin ang Pangulong Marcos, no? Dinala natin siya sa Hawaii, no? At noong 1986 nagkaroon ng state action, no? Ang mga tao na mismo ang nag-decide na tama na, sobra na, palitan na. So after the 1986 EDSA People Power Revolution held on February 22 to 25 in 1986, one of the first acts of the new administration under President Corazon C. Aquino is to adopt a provisional constitution, the so-called Freedom Constitution in 1986. Now, the provisional constitution essentially adopted the 1973 Constitution, especially the provisions on Bill of Rights. So under the Constitution, the President have the power to appoint members of the Constitutional Commission, which President Corazon C. Aquino did, no? And then, with that, no, temporary lang naman yun, provisional yun, kasi that constitution would lead to another constitution that is coming from the people. So on May 26, 1986, President Corazon C. Aquino appointed 50 Constitutional Commission members representing the various sectors of the society. On June 2, 1986, the Constitutional Commission members, led by Justice Cecilia Muñoz Palma, started their sessions at the Batasang Pambansa. By October 12, 1986, they were done with their tasks. The draft was presented to the President on October 15, 1986. No? Itong 1986 Constitution, ang longest constitution ng Philippines. It's almost like a code, no? Sabi naman ng mga constitutionalists natin tulad ni Father Miguel Bernas, yan daw yung modern constitutions. They are long and detailed. So on February 2, 1987, a plebiscite was conducted to ratify the Constitution, and the Filipinos overwhelmingly ratified it. So yan ang litrato ni Justice Cecilia Muñoz Palma. Inabot niya kay Pangulong Corazon C. Aquino ang natapos na balangkas ng saligang batas ng 1987. So, pero yun ang ating introduction sa ating 7 saligang batas na nabuo, no, sa loob ng ating kasaysayan ng Pilipinas, no, sa loob lamang ng 100 taon. Pero ang focus ng ating discussion sa reading on Philippine history ay yung 4 lamang, yung 1899, 1935, 1973, at 1987. Mahahaba ang mga babasahin ito, kaya mag-focus lamang tayo sa elements of the state na na-discuss natin kanina, no? So the framework of analysis are the elements of the state, no? Huwag kayong mapagod, no? Pwede niyong i-pause kung gusto niyong mag-break, pero sundin pa din natin ang mga sumusunod pang mga analysis natin. Panoorin pa din natin. So unahin natin ang Malolos Constitution ng 1899, no? Sa Malolos Constitution, hindi nasama ang territory, no? Kumbaga, walang territory ng Pilipinas na nabalangkas sa Constitution ng Malolos. Although the phrase Philippine territory was mentioned many times, there was no exact definition, no? It was mentioned lamang na yung mga taong nakadaan sa Philippine territory o mga taong ipinanganak sa Philippine territory, but there was no definition. Maiintindihan natin ito kasi sa panahon ng binuo ang Malolos Constitution, marami pang mga probinsya at lalawigan ng Philippines na napasailalim pa sa mga kamay ng mga Espanyol. kumbaga hindi pa sila lumaya. In fact, yung mga sumama sa Malolos Congress ay yun lamang mga bayan o lalawigan na napasailalim na ng kamay ng mga Pilipino. At yung ibang mga lugar na hindi pa napailalim sa kamay ng mga Pilipino, sa mga tinatawag na revolusyonaryo, ay nagkaroon lamang ng appointed na mga representatives. No? Ayan. So, walang definition ng territory doon sa Malolos Constitution. Sa government naman, mayroon sa Malolos Constitution. The government of the Republic is popular, representative, alternative, and responsible, and shall be divided among 3 distinct powers, which shall be named legislative, executive, and judicial. No? Ang gobyerno ay pinakitaan ng democratic form. No? It is a republic, it is popular, it is representative. No? And then the government itself is has 3 the basic division of the government is legislative, which makes laws, executive, which executes laws, and then the judicial power, which adjudicates issues. No? Yan din naman ang setup natin ngayon. No? Although hirap na hirap sila during that time. No? Kasi the judiciary is not yet in existence. No? Ang nagiging judge noon ay ang mga nasa executive din, yung mga mayors ng mga bayan. So, sa citizens naman, dinefine ng Malolos Constitution kung sino-sino ang mga tinatawag na Filipinos, kung sino tayo. No? Number 1, all persons born in Philippine territory. No? Any sea vessel where the Philippine flag is flown is considered for this purpose a part of Philippine territory. So, jus solis, no? Kahit Espanyol ka, basta dito ka pinanganak sa Philippines, you are a Filipino. Kahit foreigner ka, basta dito ka pinanganak sa Philippines o sa mga Philippine vessels na may Philippine flag, ikaw ay Filipino. So that is not the existing now, no? Children of Filipino father or mother, even though they were born outside the Philippines. So, Filipino pa din kapag ipinanganak sa labas, kung meron siyang isa sa mga magulang ay Filipino. No? Yung mga foreigners na nagpa-naturalize, no, nakakuha sila ng certificate of naturalization. So, who are foreigners? So, all persons not falling within 1 and 2, no? All persons na born outside the Philippines and of no Filipino parentage. No? They can still be Filipinos provided na makapagkuha sila ng certificate of naturalization. And those who without such certificate have acquired domicile in any town within Philippine territory. No, so kahit foreigners ay welcome sa Malolos Constitution bilang Pilipino kapag sila ay naninirahan, no, sa kahit anong bayan sa loob ng teritoryo ng Pilipinas. So medyo maluwang ang Malolos Constitution doon sa tinatawag natin na Filipinos. Sovereignty, kalayaan o kalayaang mga siwa sa internal na usapin o usaping panloob. So, The political association of all Filipinos constitute a nation whose state shall be named the Philippine Republic. And the Philippine Republic is free and independent. Ayon yan sa Constitution ng Malolos. And sovereignty resides exclusively in the people. So nasa mga tao ang kapangyarihan. At ang mga tao, through their representative leaders, ang siyang mamuno, no? At mag-chart ng destiny ng bansang Pilipinas. So, puntahan na natin ang 1935 Constitution, no? Kung sa 1899 Malolos Constitution, walang provision sa territory, sa 1935 Constitution naman meron. At dito sa Constitution na ito, unang-una nating dinefine talaga ang territory ng Philippines, no? So, Section 1 maliwanag na the Philippines comprises all the territory ceded to the United States by the Treaty of Paris concluded between the United States and Spain on the 10th day of December 1898, the limits of which are set forth in Article 3 of the said treaty, together with all the islands embraced in the treaty concluded at Washington between the United States and Spain on the 7th day of November 1900 and in the treaty concluded between the United States and Great Britain on the 2nd day of January 1930, and all territory over which present government of the Philippine Islands exercises jurisdiction. So, maliwanag na ang ating teritoryo ay born out of treaties, no? Mga kontratang pinirmahan ng United States together with Spain and United States together with Great Britain, no? Kasi if you remember sa history, ang Philippine territory ay ipinaubaya ng Spain, no, sa United States sa ilalim ng Treaty of Paris. So, tingnan natin the treaty. The treaty says, so the treaty between the Kingdom of Spain and the United States of America na for the cession of outlying islands of the Philippines, November 7, 1900, no? Ito yung islands of Cagayan, Sulu, and Sibuto, no? All the others nasa ilalim na ng Treaty of Paris. Yung Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, including Batanes, ay nasa Treaty of Paris. Pero itong the islands of Cagayan, Sulu, and Sibuto, wala doon. Kaya nagkaroon pa ulit ng panibagong treaty dated November 7, 1900. No? And then the convention between the United States of America and Great Britain, delimiting the boundary between the Philippine archipelago and the state of Borneo, of North Borneo in 1930. Doon klaro na the Turtle Islands and the Mangsi Islands belongs to the Philippines. That's, as we said, very important element of the state, the territory. It was first defined in 1935 Constitution. So as to the government, Article 17, Section 1, it states that the government established by this Constitution shall be known as the Commonwealth of the Philippines. Upon the final and complete withdrawal of the sovereignty of the United States and the proclamation of the Philippine independence, the Commonwealth of the Philippines shall henceforth be known as the Republic of the Philippines. So maliwanag dito na we have all the four requisites of a state minus the sovereignty. So territory, we have them. government, we have them. Citizens, we have them. Minus the sovereignty. Kasi it's still with the United States and they are to withdraw it pa. So we are not yet a state. We might be a nation called the Philippines, but we are not yet a state during that time. No? During the 1935 Constitution. So upon withdrawal, we become independent and we shall be henceforth called the Republic of the Philippines only upon withdrawal. And we saw this withdrawal in 1946. Nevertheless, as a government, the executive power shall be vested in the President of the Philippines. Kaya nagkaroon ng election nun at nanalo si Pangulong Manuel Quezon. The legislative power shall be vested in a National Assembly. The members of the National Assembly shall not exceed 120, shall be chosen every 3 years, and shall be apportioned among 7 provinces as nearly as may be according to the number of their respective inhabitants. But each province shall have at least 1 member. Unicameral ito, National Assembly, no? They serve as the lawmaking body. Isa lang, walang Senate and Congress, wala. Unicameral. National Assembly composed of 120 representatives, according to the Constitution. Article 8, Section 1, the judicial power shall be vested in 1 Supreme Court and in such inferior courts as may be established by law. So there are 3 branches of the government here, very, very much the same as the United States of America Constitution, executive, legislative, and judicial departments, no? Or branches. So citizenship, who are the so-called Filipinos under 1935 Constitution? So the following are the citizens of the Philippines. Those who are citizens of the Philippine Islands at the time of the adoption of this Constitution. So it refers back to the 1899 Constitution, defining who are the citizens there, and because they are defined there as the citizens, then whoever is defined there as citizens are also the citizens upon the adoption of the 1935 Constitution. Those born in the Philippine Islands of foreign parents who, before the adoption of this Constitution, had been elected to the public office in the Philippine Islands. So this may refer to foreigners, no, who lived and got elected in public offices in the Philippine Islands. And they are called citizens under the 1935 Constitution. I remembered there are so many foreigners in the country during this time. No? May they be Spaniards, Americans, no? French. There are so many foreigners in the Philippines during this time. And some of them were actually elected into office. And they become Filipinos by virtue of the 1935 Constitution. Those whose fathers are citizens of the Philippines. So the mother was eliminated now, unlike the 1899 Constitution. But now there is a number 4. Those whose mothers are citizens of the Philippines, but with foreign father, and upon reaching the age of majority, elect Philippine citizenship. So for fathers, they automatically become citizens of the Philippines, but those persons with Filipino mothers must elect Philippine citizenship upon reaching the age of majority or 18 years old. And those who are naturalized in accordance with law. So naturalization also. So that's the 1935 Constitution on citizenship. No? So you can see how it developed from 1899 to 1935. So let's proceed to the 1973 Constitution. The 1973 Constitution provides for a territory. And this is also very significant because it was during this constitution that we have this Kalayaan group of islands. No, it was discovered in 1950s by Thomas Cloma, and it was actually turned over to the Republic of the Philippines under the Marcos time. And this is very crucial. No? So the 1973 Constitution actually spelled out the Philippine territory. Let's read them. Article 1, the national territory. Section 1, the national territory comprises the Philippine archipelago with all the islands and waters embraced therein, and all other territories belonging to the Philippines by historic right or legal title, including the territorial sea, the airspace, the subsoil, the seabed, the insular shelves, and the other submarine areas over which Philippines has sovereignty or jurisdiction. The waters around, between, and connecting the islands of the archipelago, irrespective of their breadth and dimensions, form part of the internal waters of the Philippines. So if you look at the map, no, and if you analyze Article 1, it is clear that there is already the concept of archipelagic doctrine in the 1973 Constitution, that we are an archipelago. And as an archipelago, we define, no, this whole territory as Philippine territory. And all the seas formed in between these islands are considered internal waters. No? And we successfully defended this, no, to the United Nations Convention on Laws of the Sea, the archipelagic doctrine of the Philippines. Otherwise, if we were not able to defend it and it was not accepted internationally, this Sulu Sea, which is really, really wide, no, would become open seas, no, and would be open to all sojourners, be they friendly or be they enemies, no? Because it's considered open seas. But under the Philippines and the territory of 1973 Constitution, we consider them internal waters, no? Irrespective of their breadth and dimensions. No? So we define here the Philippine archipelago, no? Ayan, the national territory. And this is the most comprehensive and the most overarching definition of our territory. No? It does not make claims like the claim over Sabah. It is just a generic distinction wherein we do not abandon any of our claims. No? It's just generic. Okay. So the government under 1973 Constitution, it states in Article 2, Section 1 that the Philippines is a republican state And sovereignty resides in the people, and all government authority emanates from them. The president shall be the head of the state and the chief executive of the republic. That's Article 7, Section 1. Article 8, Section 1, the legislative power shall be vested in a batasang pambansa. And then Article 8, Section 2, the batasang pambansa which shall be composed of not more than 200 members, so on and so forth. And Article 10, Section 1, the judicial power shall be vested in one Supreme Court and in such inferior courts as may be established by law. So there are still three branches of the government. The president, which is the executive, the legislative, and the judicial power. But there is only one legislative power, and it's under the so-called Batasang Pambansa. There was also an obvious attempt in the 1973 Constitution to Philippinize the terminologies. No? The so-called Batasang Pambansa, Saligang Batas, no? To wipe away vestiges of colonialism, no? Of any foreign government. So who are the citizens of the Philippines under the 1973 Constitution? Section 1 of Article 3 on citizenship, the following are citizens of the Philippines. Those who are citizens of the Philippines at the time of the adoption of this Constitution. So this covered the citizens of the Philippines in 1935 and 1899 constitutions. Those whose fathers or mothers are citizens of the Philippines. So it went back to both equality of the fathers and the mothers. In the 1935, those who are born with Filipino mothers must elect Philippine citizenship when they reach the age of majority. But here, it was returned back to the former status. And those who elect, no? Philippine citizenship pursuant to the provisions of the Constitution of 1935. No? So this validated those who elect Philippine citizenship, either because their mother is a Filipino and reaching the majority age they elected, or they elect Philippine citizenship via naturalization. And those who are naturalized in accordance with the law. So sovereignty, how free is our country, and from whom does the power resides? So Article 2, Section 1, the Philippines is a republican state. So it's a democratic state by representatives. Sovereignty resides in the people, and all government authority emanates from them. So the power to decide the affairs of the nation resides in the people, but as a republican state, reside in the people's representatives, or in the people, but through their representatives, through the Congress and congressmen and congresswomen. Article 2, Section 3, the Philippines renounces war as an instrument of national policy, adopts the generally accepted principles of international law as part of the law of the land, and he adheres to the policy of peace, equality, justice, freedom, cooperation, and amity with all nations. So I place them there because I want you to know, I want to emphasize that we are equal with all nations, with all states around us. And we adhere to the policy of peace with them, equality with them, justice, no? Freedom, cooperation, and friendship with them, no? As equals. So nevertheless, in order to strengthen our sovereignty, we made prohibitions or limitations of foreign ownership in the operation of public utility, the exploration and development of our natural or utilization of any of our natural resources and our educational institutions. So, yung mga public utility, yung mga tubig, kuryente, no, transportation, no, ay kailangan Filipino lang ang may-ari. And then yung pagpapatakbo ng paggagamit ng ating mga natural resources, no, pag-develop, paglinang ng ating mga likas na yaman, ay dapat Pilipino lang din ang may-ari, no? O kaya ay kung korporasyon, 60% Filipino. At ang magpapatakbo ng ating mga paaralan, no, mga dalubhasaan at mga pamantasan ay dapat Filipino lang talaga ang may-ari. So there is nationalism, no, and strengthening of sovereignty. So puntahan na natin ang pinakamahabang constitution at ang constitution na ating ini-implement ngayon, magpasa hanggang ngayon. So 1987 pa siya. So there had been 30 years? 87, 36 years, no? 36 years na siya as a constitution. 33 years, sorry. 33 years na siya as a constitution na pinapatupad sa Philippines. No? So, ito yung tinatawag nilang reactionary constitution kasi ito yung constitution matapos tayong mababad sa diktadurya ni President Ferdinand E. Marcos, no? Maraming aligasyon ng human rights violation nung panahon ng martial law. So dahil doon, nagkaroon tayo ng reaksyon at itong 1987 Constitution ang isa sa ating mga reaksyon, no, sa diktadurya ng martial law. So unahin muna natin ang territory, no? Sa Article 1, National Territory. So the national territory comprises the Philippine Archipelago with all the islands and waters embraced therein and all other territories over which the Philippines has sovereignty or jurisdiction, consisting of its terrestrial, fluvial, and aerial domains, including territorial sea, the seabed, the subsoil, the insular shelves, and other submarine areas. The waters around and connecting the islands of the Philippine archipelago, regardless of their breadth and dimensions, form part of the internal waters of the Philippines. Sounds familiar? Yeah, it was almost a copy of the 1973 Constitution. No? So, nandito din yung archipelagic doctrine na the Philippines is not a body of a group of islands surrounded by water. It is actually a body of water, no, sprinkled with islands. So yun mismong mga kadagatan ay teritoryo natin. And yung mga isla sa loob ng dagat ay bahagi ng teritoryo ng karagatan, no, ng Pilipinas. So yung mga waters in between the islands, no, like the Mindanao Sea, the waters between Visayas and Mindanao, the Sulu Sea, and those waters, no, in between our islands are actually called internal waters. And no foreign ships, foreign individuals could actually enter those territories without our permission. So sa government, very emphatic, no? The government is a democratic and republican state. Kung mapapansin nyo, iba-iba yung pangalan kanina sa ibang constitution, no? Popular, no? Pero may Republican state, but this time it is emphatic democratic. No? Pag sinabing democratic, nandiyan din sa second sentence, sovereignty resides in the people and all government authority emanates from them. That's Article 2, Section 1 of the 1987 Constitution. So the executive power shall be vested in the President of the Philippines. The legislative power shall be vested in the Congress of the Philippines, which shall consist of Senate and the House of Representatives, except to the extent reserved to the people by the provision on initiative and referendum. So bicameral ito. The lawmaking power of the Philippines is vested in the Congress, in the representatives of the people, and it shall be consist of two. One, the Senate, which has 24 members, and the House of Representatives, no, composed of congressmen and congresswomen. So this is bicameral, no, ayan. So and the people, no, and the people themselves, no, as a democratic nation, can actually initiate, no. Initiative can actually initiate an act or action and can actually be consulted in measures, no, via a referendum. And the judicial power shall be vested in one Supreme Court and in such lower courts as may be established by law. So the three branches of the government are still there. The government is very democratic, no? In 1987 Constitution. So, who are the Filipinos, no? In the 1987 Constitution? Sige nga, dito, kasi ito yung existing, isulat nyo sa baba kung saan kayo na belong as a citizen. No? I-enumerate ng 1987 Constitution ang citizens and then i-comment nyo sa baba kung saan kayo na belong. Ayan. So, the following are citizens of the Philippines. Number 1, those who are the citizens of the Philippines at the time of the adoption of these constitution. So, yung mga mamamayan na ng Pilipinas noong 1987, nung time na ang constitution na ito ay inadopt. No? Number 2, those whose fathers or mothers are citizens of the Philippines. Yaong mga taong kung sinong kanilang tatay o nanay ay mga mamamayan ng Pilipinas. Those who are born before January 17, 1973 of Filipino mothers who elect Philippine citizenship upon reaching the age of majority. No? So ito yung mga under pa sa 1935 Constitution na may Filipino mothers na when they reach the age of majority, they elected Philippine citizenship. No? And those who are naturalized in accordance with the law. Sige nga, i-comment below kung saan kayo nabilong. So sovereignty. This Article 2, Section 7, the state shall pursue independent foreign policy. In its relations with other states, the paramount consideration shall be national sovereignty, territorial integrity, national interest, and the right to self-determination. So sa ating pakikipag-ugnayang panlabas ay walang hahadlang sa ating pagsusulong ng ating pambansang interes, no? Hindi natin i-yield ang ating territorial integrity, no? At hindi tayo yuyuko sa kahit sino man. And this is our independent foreign policy. It strengthens actually ang ating sovereignty, no? Meron akong nakita nung sinuyod ko yung 1987 Constitution, no? Sa under sa COMELEC Article 9C Section 2 paragraph 5 second paragraph, financial contributions from foreign governments and their agencies to political parties, organizations, coalitions, or candidates related to elections constitute interference in national affairs, and when accepted, shall be an additional ground for cancellation of the registration with the Commission, referring to the Commission on Election, in addition to other penalties that may be prescribed by law. So yung mga tumatakbo sa politika, hindi sila pwedeng tumanggap ng contributions mula sa foreign governments o pamahalaang pangibayong dagat, no? O sa ibang pamahalaan, no? O kaya kahit anong political party sa ibang pamahalaan, bawal tumanggap kasi ito'y mag-undermine ito sa ating sovereignty, no? Masisira kasi kung makokontrol tayo, for example, ng ibang bansa, kung sakaling mayroon silang contributions doon sa mga tumatakbo, no? So makokontrol ang ating bansa at ma-undermine ang ating kalayaan. And we're very strict with that, actually. There are other penalties prescribed by law in addition to the cancellation ng mga registration ng mga politikong yan. So, sa ilalim ng Article 12, Section 10, in the grant of rights, privileges, and concessions covering national economy and patrimony, the state shall give preference to qualified Filipinos. Nationalization ng ating national economy at saka yung patrimony. No? The state shall regulate and exercise authority over foreign investments within its national jurisdiction and in accordance with its national goals and priorities. No? We don't actually prioritize foreign investments. We prioritize the investment of qualified Filipinos. So, ito ang pinakamalakas, no? Kasi talagang dito sa 1987 Constitution, maliwanag na talagang inayawan na natin ang agreement natin with the United States concerning the military bases. Kasi para sa atin, it's undermining our sovereignty. Article 18, Section 25, no? We did not want to renew our agreement. So after the expiration in 1991 of the agreement between the Republic of the Philippines and the United States of America concerning military bases, foreign military bases, troops or facilities shall not be allowed in the Philippines, except under treaty duly concurred by the Senate and when the Congress so requires, ratified by a majority of votes cast by the people in a national referendum held for that purpose, and recognized as a treaty by the other contracting states. So, indeed, the Constitution is very nationalistic, no? Yung marirenew lang ang treaty kapag it will be referred to the people in a national referendum. It's expensive, no? We have to refer to the people kung saan nagmula ang kapangyarihan, no? And then it shall be treated as a treaty, no? Para sa paningin ng ating kapartner, dapat treaty siya. So this is an expression of independent foreign policy, no? Sa Philippines, and a nationalistic constitution, no? We refuse to renew the military bases, no, in the Philippines. So, thank you so much for listening. Hanggang doon na lamang ang ating discussion. And I will have a reaction paper. Please do give me a reaction paper. I will upload the questions in your GCs. But in the meantime, I thank you so much for listening. So, natapos na naman ang isang araw ng discussion natin sa readings on Philippine history. Maraming salamat sa inyong pakikinig. Mag-ingat kayo lagi sa mga panahon ngayon, no? At sana ay may natutunan kayo sa ating video ngayong araw na ito. Thank you once again, and hanggang sa susunod na video natin sa Readings in Philippine History. Bye-bye!